Peace and grand rising to the sovereign, original, indigenous, natural, divine heirs who are the original, indigenous, universal, sovereign, natural, divine,
territory, grand rising,
natural, divine, Moorish, National Republic, federal government, and the Moorish American Consulate, and the Moorish American Consular Court. Peace and grand rising. We want to start today off. I'm going to mute everyone for just a moment so that there are no interruptions. We want to take just about 30 to 60 seconds and just put some really good energy and just share some great energy with one another. So, grand rising. Yes, grand rising. So I'm going to go ahead. And let's just take just a moment to send some gratitude first to our ancestors who have returned in us, and then also to our great teachers, anyone who has ever influenced our lives to get us to this point that we're at right now. We're at a great point right now. We're at an awesome point right now. And we want to take the time to send some thanks and some appreciation to our grand ancestors, and then to the ones that are in our lives, the ones who transitioned as well as the ones who are still here, our teachers who are here, and anyone even that we are in contact with on a daily basis. We just want to send some grateful gratitude energy to them. So let's take about 30 seconds to do that. I'll go ahead and start my my clock so that we can get a good 30 seconds of just pure gratitude going.
Melo.
Islam. We did make it to 30 seconds before monkey business started, so we're grateful for that. Even he has to be quiet during our 30 seconds. Islam. And I think they're aware of that. We're so grateful for all that we have been through and where we are now. So I'll give a brief synopsis of where we are now before we talk about where we're going and etc. So what we've done thus far as a nation and as the government on the land, just think about where we were when we first woke up, each one of us. And those are different dates and different times that we woke up. But since that time, I'll say since the 18th of May 2018 was when we were sent by the consulate, and the consular court was sent by the government, which is the Moorish National Republic federal government, to begin officially doing the work that we do today. And much has transpired since then. We have proclaimed our sovereign status as more than 500 in number on the public record as the law and as the government. We have, since that time, and again, our government is not new. It's been around since time immemorial. We've just ramped things up quite a bit in the last 3 years. We have also proclaimed the gold standard as being since time immemorial and active on our land. We have also become very active where our court actions are concerned. We needed to have active courts on the land, and that has manifested. Everything that we said we were going to manifest as a nation and as the government, we've done so thus far. And we did it together. Nobody, no one can do that by themselves. We had to do it together, or else the ancestral energies would not be with us. But they are with us, and they stay with us and will remain with us because we have all been doing the work and going through the testing and consenting to be tested as the heirs would be tested. We have also placed many sovereign, original, indigenous, natural, divyne affidavits of lien or lien affidavits on the corpses and dead bodies laying all over our land, pretending to be alive and pretending to be us, the corporations. We've liened them heavily. And they have done what they should have done. You can look around and see the condition and know that those liens had everything to do with where we are now. We have also, as a nation and as the government, most recently, among many other things, but most recently, as of this past Thursday, we have officially activated, reactivated, restored the United States Treasury. And we all did that as a nation on the public record by sovereign congressional vote by this Congress. A group of sovereigns is a Congress. And that is most important because it really only takes one sovereign to govern the whole earth. Look how many of us there are. There are many of us. And so we have officially done that together. Over the next few days, months, weeks, and years, we're going to be moving further into the use of our treasury. It is a treasury that's been around since time immemorial. It's gold backed, etc., etc. Then gold backed. And when we say gold backed, it's backed.
Just because you repeat it over and over doesn't mean it's true.
And so, we know that we're the bank. We know that. And we've always been that. That's why they have always needed our autograph. So now we're going to move into the use of it. We're going to do that strategically, carefully, peacefully, competently, because there are most important needs.
You're a fraud, Polly.
There are needs that the Moors have. And we didn't develop those needs overnight. And so we're going to take our time and get everything taken care of. And that's according to each Moor, okay? Each Moor has to do their own saving of themselves. And we're all doing that, assisting one another together. And that is in alignment with what our Prophet Noble Drew Ali said. He said, I gave you everything you need to save a nation. Now take it and save yourself. And now we know what that means. That means that it's going to be by our action and by our study that we, and by our unity, most importantly, overall. Because even those who are newly awakened, they may not know as much as the next knows, but when we're unified, there will be no deficiency in our nation. There'll be no weak link because of our unity. The unity is what keeps us, all strengthened. And so that's how we do everything. We are love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and unity. And I'm not adding anything to the 5 points of light that wasn't already ingrained in it as well. So we want to keep moving forward in that direction. In our last meeting on Thursday, it was the 13th, I believe it was. In fact, let me just make sure. Okay, yes, on the 14th, Thursday, the 14th of January, we voted to officially open the United States Treasury in red in all lowercase letters, in capitis diminutio nolo, in propria persona sui juris, in proprio solo, and in proprio haeredis. No United States corporation, company, citizen has personam jurisdiction, nor territorial jurisdiction, nor subject matter jurisdiction over the heirs, period. And that includes all land, all natural resources, and all commerce. On this past Friday, our Grand Sheik defined, Grand Sheik Taj Tariq Bey spoke at House of Reawakening Minds, and he defined land and what land is. It's not the definition that we were fed. It's the definition that we as a nation, with the assistance of our Grand Sheik, have discovered for ourselves. Okay? And so land is everything. According to that, to the definition, land is, and I'll paraphrase what was stated, it's everything. It's the structures, it's the things that grow on the land, it's the soil, it's the ground, it's the water, it's the trees, the crops, any structure on the land, whether modern or ancient, anything under the land, the minerals, the ancient structures that have been covered in the mud floods, etc. It's everything that we can see and much of what we can't see. So land is everything for us. To state our claim and state who we are and state and possess the things that belong to us, we must do so competently so that there's no violation that comes from proper claiming. And that is what the Treasury is for. It's all about that, about making competent, proper claim to the land and to all that there is and giving proper accounting for it. Everything on our land has a value. It has a price. Everything on our land has. And that is the purpose of the Treasury, is to keep an accounting of what we have and of our vast estate and what it means. So in order to do that, we're going to for each property, we must take a look at what the quote unquote market value is of that property, and then competently state that, and then place the proper documents on the public record. So on Thursday, we placed under the video on Thursday, January the 14th, 2021 on the Greco-Roman calendar and 1441 on the moon calendar. We placed under the video on YouTube at Light Tajiri Bay channel the 5 documents in the notes under that video that precede a sovereign instrument. And those 5 documents are, number 1, the name change and judicial proclamation. That's number 1. Those 2 go together. Number 2 is the termination of all corporate contracts, all corporate contracts. Number 3 is a process. It's the document, but it's learning and knowing the process of liening. Any fake corp or corporation who is attempting to have some sort of claim on sovereign land, because corporations cannot own land and corporations cannot govern at all. So the corporations have been attempting to be us, and now we're us. And we've always been us, so we're just properly and competently asserting that. So I wanted to, and then the 4th document is the 4th document, or 5th document rather, in process after the lien process. The 5th is going to be the court action. Okay, name change, judicial proclamation, termination of corporate contracts. The lien is the 3rd. The court actions are the 4th. The proclamation of trust is the 5th. And then the 6th is going to be these instruments cut from the treasury, and the indemnis facere that goes with it, and the title, the allodial sovereign title to the land. Those things, the 3 things. So part 6 has 3 items that go with it. And it is suggested that you do the study on each one of these processes. Do the study on them and know them before you engage in this process. Okay, and when you do the process of these instruments, using these instruments, you want to, just one moment. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't see the chat. Okay. So we want to make sure that you can stand on the processes. These documents and a sovereign instrument do not take the place of your ability to demonstrate your sovereign status, where policy enforcers and fakes and fake sheriffs and all of that stuff, you still have to know how to demonstrate who you are. And know that when you place things on the public records, you don't owe them any type of an explanation at all. Okay. And
Islam?
so, Islam.
Yes. I kind of wanted to jump in to speak about the documents in relation to the property repossession because I'm actually ongoing some of those steps. And basically what I did was, and I kind of wanted to ask some of the other Moors on the call how their demonstrations were going in regards to property repossession, because where I'm at with what I've been working on is affidavits of, judicial proclamation, nationality, liens, and including the allodial title and everything like that went on the public record for a house that I was trying to get on the west side of the Atlanta, Georgia territory. And what I noticed was that they had took the for sale sign down that was sticking up in the yard. It had came down after I had did those things. And I also believe that I further put a lien on the address, the corporate address for the property, as well as the corporate address for the address of the corporation that's claiming they own the house. And I have yet to do a court action on that property, and that's what is coming up next. And I'll send you details about that so you can add it to the docket. But that is coming up next, and what I've noticed is that kind of since then, not only has the for sale sign come down, but like the activity around the area has kind of been shifting a little bit. And just recently they were doing some work on the property. They added in a drive, expanded the driveway a little bit. So there is still some activity on the driveway. What was very interesting was I posted the actual affidavits and the liens on the door, the physical door of the real estate agency that listed the home itself, and the address for the business that is claiming that they own it. And, the next day I could see that they had taken them down, and that they had taken them down, and the place that I posted them, which was to me verification that they received it. And in a very specific affidavit, and I'm going to put in the chat the name of my website that I've been posting everything. But in a very specific affidavit, I informed them that on December 27th of 2020 Gregorian calendar, that I was going to be showing up to the property for the keys, and that's when I was abducted. And I thought that was too much of a coincidence. You know what I'm saying? The day that I was supposed to actually be going to get the keys, I was abducted, and I was detained for a few hours or whatever. Next steps coming up for that is court action. I did get a flag and a flag post, so I would like to go and put a flag up on the house as well, and see what the reaction is from that, which they can't do much about it anyways. But I just wanted to kind of give that so people can get an idea of kind of how these things are actually playing out, and if anybody is going through the process of repossessing property right now, if they want to jump in and kind of just give us some context. Islam.
Okay. Thank you for that, Justice Apollo, and I'll open the floor to others who want to say something, but I want to say this first. What you're seeing is absolutely the way the process works, except that it's the same thing happened here, except that what you're doing is correct. They know it and you know it. That's the way this is supposed to work, except that this part that we're showing today must be in place also. That's the part that everyone's looking around like, okay, when are they going to start paying for the stuff? And it's not really paying for it because we already have it. There has to be a commercial accounting, an action on exchange on the public record in gold and silver. There must be a competent exchange on the public record for the property. There must be. We learned that by watching the Albions and their tax assessor website. So you did everything correct, and they acknowledged it. The way they acknowledge are the things that we do, which is take those things and look at them and say, uh-oh, oops, the errors are here. Okay, let's just see what's happening. and they wait a while, and sometimes they start fixing the place up and things like that because that's actually part of, they were supposed to be doing that anyway. And then they wait for the sovereign exchange for them to be notified that there's a sovereign exchange that has taken place. The indemnis facere is going to be important for you as well because, again, as you go to these places, you can't just pick up the phone and call 911 to fake policy enforcers. You have to do all of that yourself. You also have to be your fire and your all of that. You have to be all of that yourself. And when I say yourself, with the Moors that are in the territory. So you all have to work together to assist one another in that. But they know that what we're saying and what we're doing is correct. They know that. They're responding the same way everywhere where these processes have been done, where liens have been placed on things and court actions done, because that's another one. They will, and of course, they'll keep you for, a couple of hours if you haven't done a court action and a sovereign creditor instrument. In other words, a sovereign commercial exchange must take place, and it must be on the public record, and you have to notify them that has taken place, and it has to come from a lawful place that's backed not by one more, but by the people. The people who voted, the Congress that voted this past Thursday, those are the people. The people that are here on this call that are Moors, that's the people, because the people are speaking. We're saying we back our sovereign instruments, and they are go backed by our vast estate. And so all that needs to be done now is competent placing on the public record of the new economy, which is gold-backed money. It's real money, not fake money. We the people, all day, every day. And so that's what we're doing. Just as Apollo, what you just said was exactly how it's a pattern of what's going on. But we have to finish the process. And even then, it's not finished. Even once you put it on there, it's not finished, because even when we get into the domicile, we have to support one another in there. We have to support one another. We have to. We have to be our own locksmiths. We have to be our own maintenance. But again, we've been doing that ourselves anyway. There are Moors everywhere who are locksmiths. There are Moors everywhere who are maintenance people. Moors who do yard work, landscaping, etc. We've been doing everything ourselves anyway. We might as well keep on going, but call it ours. Period. And that's where we are now. So, yes, lien the police, the policy enforcers, lien them. That's a must. That's part of this process. Part of the process at number 3, where liens are concerned. That's why that's number 3. Liens are number 3. Lien policy enforcers, fire departments, anybody that is doing corporate services, lien them so that they stay away, and tell them that your government, which is you, is providing police, real law enforcement, and real security and protection for your vast estate. That's how this is done. And then, Moors, we got to support one another. We have to. We can't just say that to get a domicile, and then when something happens, we're not supporting one another. We have to support one another. We have to. So it's actually, and this is what we're doing here. We're in the West Territory, is getting a specific place ready where there are. It's just going to be. It's nothing but Moors in the territory, in that space, in that living, in that community. Nothing but Moors, so that we can make sure everybody has food, make sure everybody can, and everybody's working to clean, and and do all the things that need to be done so we don't have to call foreigners to do anything. Make sure we have mechanics who can fix conveyances. Make sure we have, you know, everything that we need is going to, and all the territories should be doing the same thing. All the territories should be doing the same thing. So here at West, we're going to be, you know, we need mechanics, we need, you know, people who know how to do things, et cetera, et cetera. And then, but first and foremost, the energy must be right. And when I say right, I mean sincere energy that is determined to be free, because it's going to take that. We must be determined to be free and determined to work through whatever issues we have in our nation so that we don't have to call outsiders for anything. And we can't close the door on one another. We have to keep the door open. And if Moors are tripping and being dirty and all of that stuff, set them aside and let the ancestors deal with them, because I promise you, I'm watching it with my own eyes. I promise you, the ancestors will get that straight. No matter what it takes, they'll get it straight. Because see, either we can volunteer to be free and do things the right way, or the ancestors will make sure either we do it or we suffer. And I'm not about suffering. And I know you all are not about suffering either. So let's get it done. Let's do it. And then when we have disagreements, let's just, if we need to take a break from one another for a minute, let's take a break from one another for a minute, knowing that we are coming back together to discuss it and get it going. So no matter how things get, and if everyone is checking their energy constantly, that chaos won't last long. It'll be about 2 seconds of chaos, and then the love will come back in, and even, you know, and then we'll be able to come back together when we clear our energy. But we have to do it. Some people might think that that's naive. You can think what you want to think. But it's been many, many years. I'm ready to be free. I'm ready to be free, and anybody else that's ready to be free, come on, let's do it. Because, and that's energy clearing. Come on, let's do it. Come on, let's learn to clear that energy, you know, so that we can keep going. I see you in the chat. We're all ready to be free. Let's do it. That's going to mean being long-suffering. Someone put that in the chat. Someone very wise. Let me go back and see. Yes, we have to be long-suffering with one another so that we don't suffer under the hand of someone else, you know. So let me, does anyone else want to add anything to what Justice Apollo said? Or Justice Apollo, do you want to add anything to what you said about what, because that's exactly how things will go. And yes, it was planned to take you that day because the process was not finished. And I would say to you, I would say to you, Justice Apollo, just don't go there again until this process is finished. You know, and even then, check the energies and check with the ancestors and make sure, okay, have I done everything that needs to be done? In other words, have you properly rebutted everything on the tax assessor website? And yeah, we're you know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Justice Apollo.
No, I mean, yeah, that's one of the things too that Brother Eason, he's not here today, but me and him are in the same territory, so we talk a lot. And making sure that we cover those bases, because what's happened is that there are so many derivatives of the de jure that a lot of times when we cancel a contract or when we put out an affidavit that's addressing a certain corporate entity, a month or so down the line, it won't hurt you to do that again, because the derivatives and within the system, that is a time bomb that's going to implode on itself. But until it does, it's just the onus is on us to remain diligent. And that is definitely one thing that I plan on circling around and swinging through. That's what we call it here in the Atlanta, Georgia territory, swinging through on the demonstrations to ensure that everything is done correctly. And yeah, you're absolutely right. You know, I definitely do need to make sure that the energies and everything like that is in alignment before I do go back there. I pop up every now and again just to pass by and kind of see what's going on. But and that was one of the things that I kind of, you know, ran into was that, and I'm going to go back on my blog and see, but I'm pretty sure I did not do a court action as of yet. And that's why, you know, maybe the command of, hey, you know, leave the door open and the keys on the kitchen counter, you know, wasn't done as of yet. Because even I was like kind of I caught myself like visualizing myself having to, you know, pick the lock or do whatever to get in the house. And we don't want to do things like that because, you know, usually when you have to go to that extreme, something, you know, hasn't been done yet on the behalf of whatever, putting something on the public record, the court action. And so, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to add. It's just to make sure to swing through, and we'll continue to collect those keys that we keep coming across that are very important.
Okay. Let me say this about giving them instructions. I wouldn't give, you know, you're sovereign. You can do however you want to do it. I know that most of the places that we go, they're not even going to be around. They're not even going to be there to put any keys anywhere. They're leaving so quickly. So I would not give them a job to do. I would not delegate any authority to them to do anything, because even if this to leave the keys on your way out, that's still delegating that they do something. And then they're going to take that as, okay, they gave me a little bit of sovereignty, let me do this and then this and this and this too, because they're incompetent. So they're not going to take your what you say competently. They're going to misuse the fact that you told them put the keys there. So I would, you know, in my commands, all I'm saying is we're done. We don't need you. We got it from here. And then we do it from there. And if you think about it, whenever a domicile changes hands, the locks are changed anyway. That's something we learned from them. And then they learned it from us initially. That's why we need moorishe ones who can change the locks, because we don't want any residual from their presence being there. But again, think it through, do the study, and then follow the guiding of, I see that you're following the guiding of the Spirit, and that's first and foremost, beyond even what I say. For all Moors, is the Spirit, let the Spirit guide you. That's why the energy is so important. Because the Spirit will guide you on things that anyone who's not there won't be privy to.
Islam.
So I would not give them any work to do. I would just tell them, we got it. Bye-bye. You've been lien, so you have no more authority. And when we take their authority, that's authority to do anything. Not even leave keys. We don't need them to leave keys. We really don't. But again, that's how I see it with my eye. But your eye may tell you something different. No, it shouldn't be difficult. From what I'm seeing, they're actually leaving things unlocked as well. Because if you think about it, ain't nobody on this land but us and them. But again, you know, let the Spirit lead you on how that's done, and go forward. I love that you're doing your demonstrations, and I send super high honors to you for that, because it's working for you the same way we see that pattern working across the board. Same way. And we noticed that this part needed to be done. Empress Cynthia, I think you were going to say something. One of the other empresses was going to say something.
Islam, Grand Rising, Cynthia and Bay here, Califia territory.
Yes.
I just wanted to say that that's what happened to me too, same thing. same process, and I didn't give them instructions. Because I didn't trust them, and I didn't want them around. I just didn't want to have anything to do with them. But I waited a few days later after I told them I would be taking the property, and, you know, just to see what was going on. And when I got there, everything was open. He's right. They unlocked the gates. But I was still frightened, but I went back later, and the same thing. They had cleaned up the property. Somebody had a ladder up, and they were painting, and I actually went up to look inside the door, see what was going on. There was no furniture in there. There was one bean bag with a cat on it, and but there was no furniture in there. But I haven't been back since because, you know, I just knew something was left undone.
Let her finish, please.
I yield.
Go ahead, Empress. Let her finish, please.
Yeah.
I wanted to hear
what she was saying. Okay. I knew that something was left undone because the house is empty, and the place is all cleaned up. They opened up the gate wide, you know, because they had it all locked, cleaned the yard up, but I didn't know where to go from there, you know, at that time, and I was afraid of being accosted by them. So here I still sit right now. So I just wanted to just share that same thing happened to me too.
Yes, Empress. That's a pattern that we're seeing across the board. Yes, go ahead, Justice Apollo.
Yeah, I just have some questions for her. Empress Cynthia, did you do a court action on the property?
At that point, this process wasn't in place. So no, I hadn't done one. So it still isn't done at this point because I'm in a position that I can't do any work right now. I got to get myself back in a position because they took everything from me where I can do that. But no, I haven't. I didn't do that process. So all
Empress,
of the things Light is saying today that
I don't mean to put you on the spot, Empress, but if you're on this call, then you can do a court action. I'm just saying, you know, for future reference, just so that you're aware, if you can pick up the phone and call free conference calls, then you can do a court action because it's an audio video court anyway. I'm just saying, Empress, I just want to assist. I'm sorry, I yield.
Yeah, but no, that's great. What I'm struggling with actually is that I don't have a place to put my computer out and to get documents out. I mean, I'm living in a little tiny trailer, you know, and I got all these bodies in here, nowhere to put things out, and so I just feel like I can't move forward because of that. And I'm in the process of trying to find ways to get that, you know, that done, but it's been a year since I've done all this action. And so I'm just working to try to get back to work and get to work again. Islam.
Empress, let me just say this. When you get right there at the door, it's going to look a little bit insurmountable. When you get right there at the door, there's automatically going that's the way this works. I'm just letting you know. That's the way it works, Empress. To see if that's really
I'm all right with
do you really want that your estate. You know what I'm saying? So, you know. Empress, I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for your energy.
I'm grateful, but it swings both ways, sister.
Islam. Justice Apollo. Islam. Justice Apollo, I think you had. Are you done with your questions with her?
Yeah, I'm done. Islam. Thank you, Justice Apollo, too. It's a pattern. We're seeing it all across the board. We talk to lots of Moors. And that is the pattern that we're seeing where when they claim it and they get it together and everything, the court actions must be done because we are the judges of the earth. Okay? The court actions must be done and each Moor must do it for themselves. We can't have someone else to do it for us. We must judge for ourselves because there has to be enough judges on the land actively judging of the bloodline and birthright so that if something happens to one judge, judgment and governing doesn't stop. Okay? So it's a pattern, and you all have affirmed it as well. The processes work. When the energies are right, and those documents are in place and a court action and liens on everyone and proper notification is done. And then the sovereign exchange takes place.
And the exchange is not with them. It's not with the foreigners. Your exchange is going to be with other Moors. The United States Treasury in red in all lowercase letters is each and all Moors. So there does need to be 3 autographs on the instrument. One autograph is the treasurer, the other is the bank, the United States Bank in red in all lowercase letters, and then the sovereign creditor that chose the property. That must, their autograph must be on there. So now that we're at that point, let me go ahead and show you an example of an instrument that we have created here from the United States Treasury. Islam.
I just wanted to make a comment about the locks, changing the locks. When I first started researching leaning a property.
Can you speak up just a little bit, Empress, because it sounds a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me know if you can hear me better.
Yes.
When I was researching on leaning a property, I came across a county sheriff website, and they laid out all of the processes that they do. And they said normally when you possess a property, they're not, the person who you're getting the property from, they're not going to give the keys. So just be ready to have your locksmith on board when you claim your property. So that's what they said. So I said, okay, so they know that, you know, they're not in the best mood when you take your property. So, you know, don't expect them to comply. Don't even look for it. Just bring your locksmith. Just get in there. So I wanted to put that out there.
Thank you, Empress, so much, because that is a further affirmation of what we're saying. We don't want them to do anything. I don't want them to give me a key. I don't want them to give me a key. I got it.
Yeah.
Bye. We want, you know, we're good. We got it.
Yes.
Thank you for your service. We have it.
Anyway, yeah. You want to change your life anyway. So, yeah, I yield. I just want that was from in California, Khalifa Territory. It was the Napa County sheriff page, and they break all that down. So,
well, there's the source.
And they showing us how to govern. So bring your locksmith.
Islam. And that's why see, Moors have always been the smiths, in other words. Keeping everything, the locksmiths, the blacksmiths, the craftsmen, the makers, the masons, the masons, the builders. We've always been that, and we're just going back to that. Anybody ready to come out of that 9-to-5 situation and do what you love? And that's a suggestion. I'm not saying do that, because let your ancestral energies lead you. But that's what we're going back to. We have to, because we have a vast estate to govern, very vast, and we need to do it for ourselves and for our heirs. So, beautiful affirmations. Woo! Beautiful affirmations. Yes, Islam. So I want to show you again those 5 instruments, and then the 6th instrument, along with the indemnis facere, the allodial title, and let's see. Let me just make sure that I don't, because I have a list here. When we do these processes, competently, peacefully, listen, the estate is ours. It's ours, period. And, our ancestors, they don't have any problem with giving us the estate when we competently demonstrate. The indemnis facere, the instrument, and the sovereign allodial title. And those things need to be competent. So we'll show you, I'll put up, under this video, I will put, again, the 5 documents, and then I'll also put a sample allodial title, which I think I'll probably end up doing that today. But let me show you the instrument, the first instrument that was created from the Treasury. And real quickly, I want to say just a huge, gigantic thank you to Empress Amor Michelle Bay and Empress Simone Selket L. We worked until after midnight last night and into the morning hours to ensure the accuracy of the work. And that's why I absolutely just honor, and adore the heirs here at West, because they know what they're doing, and we keep one another sharp, and we're willing to put in the hours and the time to continue to possess our vast estate. So I want to say a huge thank you to the two empresses. They're just monumentally sharp, and just I love working with them. So here is an example of a United States Treasury cashier's check. It is on Moorish government letterhead, and that's the letterhead, and here is the cashier's check. And I'll just go down the list or down the page so that you can see. Let me pull it back just a little bit so that you can see what you need to see with regard to, this would be one for sovereign property. So at the top of the check, it does state United States Treasury cashier's check, and it's actually spelled KCA's check. That word KCA, and I mentioned this on Thursday, it is the French/Latin/Morse Latin for the word cashier check. And a cashier's check, or KCA's check, is a check issued by the bank. And we know that all Moors are the bank. So that is why that is there. And so this is a check for sovereign prepayment for sovereign property. We have always been stating that everything is prepaid already by the heirs. We've been saying that from day one. That is true. Except we have to manifest that prepayment. And that's what this is. And it's not even really a payment, it's a conveyance of sovereign energy from one place to another within our vast estate. So just like any other, when you look at a corporate check, quote unquote, and that's check spelled C-H-E-C-K, which is not the real one. But when you look at a check in a checkbook issued by the corporate, up in the upper left-hand corner of that check is going to be, a name and an address and a telephone number. We've taken that template and cleaned it up and made it sovereign in red in all lowercase letters. And in the upper left-hand corner of this United States Treasury check is the sovereign appellation of the Moor, and in this case it's Pauline Denise Ritchie. That's my sovereign born name. And then my free chosen appellation is Light Tajiri Bay, and I used Pauline Denise Ritchie because that is the creditor, and that's how is Pauline Denise Ritchie the creditor? Pauline Denise Ritchie is the creditor because on the day that the sovereign womb crowned and the heirs come forth, the sovereign mother who birthed the nations spoke a sovereign appellation into the atmosphere and said, another heir is born, this is the creditor, in red in all lowercase letters, Pauline Denise Ritchie. And each of our sovereign mothers did that for us. I would encourage you, if you need any more information about how sovereign the womb is, and you need some affirmation on that, go back to the House of Reawakening Minds channel on YouTube. And this past Friday, January the 15th, 2021, on the Greco-Roman calendar, Grand Sheikh Taj Tariq Bey spoke, and he started off the beginning of his talk talking about the womb and the sovereignty thereof, the stargate. And so when the sovereign mother gives a command into the universe and speaks, then whatever she gives the appellation to, whoever she speaks to, that is what it is. So when God Uh-oh. Just a moment. Can you all hear me? I want to be sure you can hear me.
Yes, I hear you.
Bismal.
Okay, good. Okay, great. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. So when the sovereign mother speaks, her word is to be honored. And she put thought into the sovereign appellation that she was giving her heir. And we must honor that. Now, what does that mean for the bays and the L's? We're still the bays and the L's. That's why we have a free chosen national name. Sovereign appellation, rather. Not a name. A free chosen sovereign appellation. I am like Tajiri Bay in capitis diminutio nolo in propria persona sui juris. In proprio solo and in proprio heredes. And all corporate contracts are hereby terminated on all that has anything to do with Pauline Denise Ritchie in red in all lowercase letters, and Light Tajiri Bay in red in all lowercase letters. So we're still sovereign. However, in the so the corpses, the corporations, the Europeans, just like our prophet said, they were going to be left here long enough to teach us how to govern. They showed us how to create fraudulent instruments with a fake birth certificate and all of that in black with capital letters on it. We know what those look like because everyone has one. Okay, but that's not us. We had to do it the right way. So we took the name, the sovereign appellation that our mother gave us, and we put it in its proper standing and status. So that's why that's there on the document. And then here, the check number. This check number right here, and I'll highlight it, is Moorish American Consulate West, and then this is a sovereign security number. And then the check number is 0001. So for each more, when you create your first sovereign United States Treasury cashier's check, you're keeping the numbers. So your number would be check number 12, but it would have your sovereign security number plus the 4 digits of your check. Okay. And then here, convey to, it's being conveyed to the United States Bank, which again is the Moors. And so when they would say pay to, but we don't owe anybody. So we're just conveying, moving things back and forth. That's why we call our transportation, we call it a conveyance, because it's moving energy. We're energetic beings. And so is this. This is an energetic sovereign commercial exchange. Convey to the United States Bank. The United States Bank is us. So with this demonstration, one of the empresses, there were 3 matriarchs here. 3 matriarchs here. And one of the matriarchs signed or autographed as the United States Bank. And so she checked to make sure, and this is the order of events. The bank makes sure whoever the Moor is that is the bank in the transaction or in the exchange, make sure that items 1 through 6 are there. Well, over the last couple of weeks, the matriarchs here have been meeting on Saturday to look at each other's documents, make sure each other's documents are sound and competent, redoing them again, and reprinting and making sure that everything is what it should be. And that's how we chose to do it, is to fine-tooth comb everything, and all Moors are encouraged to do that. And then and one of them is the United States Bank, and the other is the Treasury, the United States Treasury, and then there was me, the sovereign creditor. And then we did that for each other. In Empress Amour's demonstration, one of us was the United States Treasury, another was the bank, and Empress Amour is the creditor. So when we're creating these instruments, we're assisting one another in that manner. So there was an amount placed, and if you'll notice this symbol here, over the last couple of weeks we've discussed what this symbol it is. It is the Hebrew symbol, and you can in the chat, we can go back and look at what that symbol is all about. We don't use that symbol that the Albions use, the quote-unquote dollar symbol. We don't use that. We use a sovereign Hebrew letter. It is actually the letter B, or be it. That's the name of the letter in the Hebrew alphabet. The be it. And I'll put that in the chat. It's B-E-I-T. And it is a sovereign command coming from us. Okay. And once that amount is placed, okay, and this is a competent market value. This is a competent market value. 300,000 gold United States dollars. Okay. And this states who it's from and the seal of the United States Treasury, which is the Moorish National Republic Federal Government and the Moorish American Consulate. These are the sovereign seals in red in all lowercase letters of the Treasury and the government and the consulate. And then we put the mailing location, and then here, when you look on a corporate document, they will say, they have a line that says, what is this for, essentially? Well, that's what this is. It's for prepayment, and we spell prepayment P-R-A-E, P-A-Y-M-E-N-T-E. Prepayment for sovereign property, and then we put where that sovereign property is. And we use the natural area code of that sovereign property. Here, this is the United States Treasury routing number in red in all lowercase letters. If you look this number up, if you look it up in black, where capitalism is concerned, it's going to say that it's the United States Treasury routing number for a Treasury Direct card that some have been attempting to use, which we don't use their stuff. We use our own stuff. So we put United States Treasury routing in red in all lowercase letters. The master count number, this is important. This number is our sovereign master count number. So you can put on yours, you can put this both this number and this number on your sovereign United States Treasury check. All Moors can use those numbers. And then the creditor sovereign security number, that's this number, that's specific to me. So you would use your sovereign security number there, and then the amount is placed here, and the check number is placed here. So this is at the bottom, so to speak. And then come the signatures of, first, the United States Treasurer, which is all Moors are that, so there should be 3 Moors when you're doing this process. United States Treasurer, the other can be the United States Bank, and then the third is going to be the one who has chosen the property, who has done the court action, who has done the lien, the one who has proven that they're competent to govern their vast estate, which is the sovereign creditor, okay? And the sovereign creditor will autograph. And then copies of this document will go out to everyone on the lien, all of the fake corpses on the lien, just send them a copy. And it doesn't matter whether they, whether they're there or gone because of COVID. Doesn't matter. We want to notify them and then also place a notification on the public records. You can do that at Moorish American Consulate public records page on Facebook. And that's free. You don't have to pay anything to put it there, because again, our estate is not for sale. It's unalienable and inalienable. And then have you and 2 other Moors to do the process. And then we put in this space right here, to the right of where it says United States Treasury, Moorish National Republic, Federal Government, etc. And you all, if you want to use this information right here for the United States Treasury, feel free to do so. We would like to receive just a copy, either by email or by regular mail of what you've done. So that would be of your documents and then your instruments. We here at West would like to just receive it by mail or by email of what you've done, so that we can keep a running total of we just like to know, we just like to be able to say, okay, the United States Treasury in the month of February, this much has gone out of the United States Treasury by the heirs. So we want to keep a running total of the transactions and exchanges that go on, so that we can report back to the people about and we just need a copy. We don't necessarily have to speak on the phone or anything about that. Just go ahead and send it so that we have a copy of what was done. And that is the process. That's the process. And again, underneath this video, I'll put again copies of the 5 documents before, and then the 6th document. Let me pull up the title. I'll pull up a sample title, land title, that we did here. We're keeping it very simple. We're keeping our land titles very simple here. We don't feel like it needs to be very wordy and all of that, because everyone knows who we are. They've already admitted that they know who we are, and so, we're good. So let me share that with you really quickly. This will be a title that, let's see. And let me know if you can see this title.
Yes, Empress.
Islam. Okay. Thank you, Empress. All right. So this title, okay. This title, again, on government letterhead, Moorish government letterhead, with our consulate seal here and the government seal here. And here it is. Universal, sovereign, original, indigenous, natural, divine, Moorish American, Al-Moroccan, ancient land title. And again, it's written in ancient English. Located at Maghrib Al-Aqsa, Northwest Africa. Document number, and then this document number of this title matches the document number of the instrument that was used for this land title, for this land. So again, here, Document number is matching. Letterhead is matching. Everything is matching. And here, United States Treasury cashier's check number, matching. They match. And then we put our statement here. I am Pauline Denise Ritchie, in capitis diminution nolo, in proprio persona sui juris, in proprio solo, and in proprio heredes. I and all Moors are the living universal, original indigenous, sovereign, natural, divine, Moorish American nationals, who are the de jure Moorish National Republic federal government. We are the ascendants of the great pharaohs of Kemet and of the ancient Moabites and Canaanites. We are the heirs to all land, all natural resources, and all sovereign commerce. And then I put here, the reason, let me just say this too, the reason that we put all Moors, we include all Moors on our title is so that throughout time immemorial, you know, long after we've chosen to visit another planet or another dimension, the land will stay with our posterity and with our nation. So even if myself and you know, my kin here decide that we want to go someplace else, the land will still belong to all Moors, and it will never go to any corporate. So there's protection in the statements here, okay? And that way we don't have to try and dig ourselves out of anything where corporates are concerned, okay? It just got really funny here. Okay, so that is that's why we did that. And then I put the statistics, the calculation of the property. It's not an address, it is care of, and then it's and the territory. Care of 911 Southwest 314th Place, near Federal Way, Washington Territory. Ancient Washington District for Columbia. So I know for sure that this is where the fakes over there at the Roman Washington District of Columbia, they copied the ancient Washington District for Queen Columbia here. And this district is far bigger than the fake corporate district. And to note the difference, we put the universal natural area code, which is 4S3WVQVKZ5. And that came from the natural area code page, and then we just decapitalized it by putting it in all lowercase letters in red. And then latitude and longitude. We put that in red in all lowercase letters as well, because normally they would put a capital N and a capital W or whatever the case may be. Then we put a mapping of the property here, and then a bigger map here. Okay. And then, in honor, we, the divine sovereign beings, affirm that we are the sovereign, natural, and divine beings herein proclaimed in capitis diminution nolo, in proprio persona sui juris, in proprio solo, and in proprio heredes, and affirm by lawful birthright, being lawfully, universally qualified and competent to affirm this document, we therefore place our sovereign hands and seal hereto and in favor of all Moorish American nationals. So when one of us claims property, that's opening the door for all of us to competently claim property. Kairos, day 9. Kairos means there's a window of time that things are being done. In other words, the Piscean window of time is closing, and the Aquarian window of time is opening. It's already open. We're opening it. All Moors are opening it. So that's what Kairos versus Chronos. Chronos means time immemorial. And either one of those is correct. Neither one is wrong. So whichever one you choose, based on, again, the spirit and the energy that you put into your document. And that's why we clear energies before we do documents, so that as we're doing them, we can be thoughtful about each word and the energy that comes with those documents. Okay. Let me make sure that I am keeping an eye. Okay. And then here I put this statement at the bottom of the document, further protection, because there's protection and strength in our numbers. I put all sovereign, original, indigenous, Moorish American autographs for this document and for all sovereign United States of America government documents are on the public record at America. Okay. And then ego sum means I am, and then an autograph, a sovereign autograph would go here. Okay. And then we put our seals here at the bottom, and then right here in the lower right-hand corner, we embossed the seal as well, both on this document and on the sovereign instrument. Okay. So for the Moors that gave their testaments today about property and what happened with the property, this is the piece of that process that was not in place yet because the ancestors had not revealed it to us yet. The way the ancestors work with all of us is that they show us something, like they showed us the lien process, and they said, okay, if we show you this process, are you going to hoard this process and try to sell it for 1,500 notes? No, we didn't do that. We shared the information with the heirs. And so we passed that test, and the ancestors said, okay, now let's give them the court process. And they said, okay, are you going to misuse this process by talking really ugly about corpses and all of that? We didn't have to call the corpses anything other than what they really are, which is dead. We didn't have to have ugly energy doing the court actions. And in fact, we're compelled and obligated to clear our energy before we do the court actions, so that we do them not out of anger or anything like that, but that we do them because it is lawful to do it. And then the ancestor said, okay, the heirs are doing court actions, they passed that test. They're doing liens, they passed that test. So now let's give them another piece to another key to the vast estate. And let's see how they do with that before we give them another key. And so they gave us this piece. And they said, okay, let's see how they do. Let's see if they're going to hoard the process for themselves and see if they can sell it, or just use it to get their own selves 10, 20, 30 properties and not share that with the heirs or anything. Let's see how they do with this piece. And now we have the opportunity as the government and as the nation to competently share the information that we're given, and to do it peacefully, and to clear energies as we're doing it. Okay, and so that is that's where we are with the process. Are there any questions about it? Any questions at all? Islam, Justice Frank in the chat. We appreciate you much. We've seen the pattern across the land about how things were done with each one of the processes. And in some of the processes, you know, some wanted to war with the lien process and things like that. And the ones who war with the lien process, or they war with the court action process, they can't go past that process until they get rid of the war energy. That's why sometimes you'll see some people do the exact same process and it doesn't quite work. But then you can hear from the Moors that are giving their testament. And you can even hear in their energy that they have good energy about the processes. And those processes are working right up until it's time to do the next step. And that's how you know the processes work. But the energies have to be, we can't be greedy. We can't hoard the information. We can't hoard property. We actually have to be able to maintain all that we get, all that we possess. Being ourselves on our own vast estate. That is what this is all about. Okay? So, yes, we do. Justice Niall, let's get it. We got this. Absolutely, we do. Yes, we do. And as long as we stay together, which is what we're doing, that's what this is all about, is us staying together. Stay together. And when you see these instruments going out all over the place, then there's going to be, watch the change. Watch the changes. Watch them and see. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome for us. And then from this point, we'll continue to competently, peacefully possess all that belongs to us on our land. So I don't have anything further to share today. I did not, I apologize, I did not have the opportunity to make the video of these documents over the weekend. We got really busy with making sure that what we were presenting today was competent and done well and done with proper energy, because we don't want to just throw anything out to the air. We want it to be competent so that as we continue to move in our sovereign status together, that everything is done the way our ancestors would do it. That's what we're really going for, is just making sure we do things with the excellence that they did it with. So, are there any, Islam, Justice Frank, we love you too. Are there any other questions or comments, etc.? Yes, Islam. Yes, yes, Empress.
Can these checks be used to purchase a conveyance?
We're going to move into that process after we do a few demonstrations with the domiciles. Yes.
Okay.
So yes, they can, but we need to do so competently and peacefully together, because there are some processes that need to be done where the conveyance is concerned. Okay, we have to pull it all the way out of a fake jurisdiction and bring it sovereignly into the Al-Moroccan jurisdiction. So we'll go over that next. Yes.
Okay.
It won't be this week. It will be as we move competently together with the processes. So that's what we want to do. That's next on the list, for sure.
Okay. Islam, thank you.
Islam. You're welcome. And I will say this: please be patient, heirs. Let's take our time and do it so that the estate can never be taken from us again, ever. And it wasn't really taken; it was just waiting for us to wake up. So let's move peacefully and competently, carefully, strategically, and let's do this. So I want to say quickly that this coming Thursday, thank you, Empress Alessandra. This coming Thursday, we are having our universal, sovereign, original, indigenous law enforcement unification and our unification and a peaceful proclamation this coming Thursday. We have gotten affirmatives from some of the Moors that we absolutely know and love, and who we look to for pertinent, competent information, to include one of our speakers will be Justice Abdullah Talib Mosley Bey, whom we honor and we love his work. He's going to give us a few minutes of his wisdom. Also, we're going to be hearing from Justice Wasay L, who is going to be giving us some time of his wisdom this coming Thursday as well. We're also going to be hearing from Justice Grantor Belton, who is a Moorishe Aboriginal Marshal. You may have seen some of Grantor Belton's videos on YouTube. He's going to say a few words this coming Thursday. Empress Delilah Pastiel is going to say a few words and continue to enlighten us with her brilliance, her sovereign information and erudition this Thursday as well. Empress Joni L. is going to give us some of her wisdom. We're looking forward to all of that. And we'll be letting you know about any others that are going to be speaking as well. We may even have a few surprise speakers. And they're going to give about between, probably somewhere around 10 minutes each of they just want to say some things to the heirs and show that no matter where we're from, no matter what nations we're with, we are still one. We can be many nations and governments and still be one. And we're making it known on the public record that the original indigenous sovereign heirs are securing our own vast estate. And that is an ongoing process. And just like the Empress, Justice Apollo was saying, not the Empress, I was about to say Empress Cynthia, but it was Justice Apollo. He said that they were going to continue to roll through and do their demonstrations and put things periodically on an ongoing process, continue to state who they are. That is a very wise strategy. So with our law enforcement Peace and Unification Summit this coming Thursday, the 21st of January, 2021 on the Greco-Roman and 1441 on the moon calendar, we're going to state there as well that we are one and that we are securing the estate and we stand. And we're going to be stating that on an ongoing basis from now into time immemorial. With that being said, if there are no other questions or comments, we got this. Peace and grand rising to the sovereign heirs, Islam.
Peace and grand rising.
Peace and grand rising.
Yeah, peace and grand rising. Islam.
Peace and grand rising to the more.
Grand rising.
Grand rising.
Islam. Grand rising, Lord. Islam. Grand rising. Grand rising, Lord. Islam. Grand rising. Islam.